Here's the thing about fragrances, man. Most fragrances are absolute trash, but there are certain ones that can take you from a 5 out of 10 instantly to an 8 out of 10. And the best part is if you know exactly which ones to buy, they're usually like $100 or under, so they're not that crazy expensive either. The problem is knowing which one is the perfect fit for you. So if you're someone who's a single guy going on dates, maybe you're in college, maybe you're in a big city, or you're trying to increase your overall attraction level without getting six-pack abs in a week, getting a whole new hairstyle, buying a whole new wardrobe, then let me tell you, man, fragrances are the quickest hack to get you there. So someone who owns over 100 bottles of fragrances has spent almost 15, at least honestly 20K at this point on just good smelling liquid. I went through all of them, find the very best of the best of the best 6 fragrances for perfect date situations. So these aren't just compliment getters. These are fragrances that get you noticed. They're memorable, they're addictive. These are the type of fragrances that people smell and get a whiff of you and they're like, holy shit, what was that? And go and try to find you again and smell you to get closer because you're just that irresistible. So if you're someone who's trying to talk to the girl of your dreams and take her on a date, you're someone trying to find that special someone, or hell dude, you're just in a big city and trying to have a good time, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and let's get right into the video. The first one on this list is Valentino's Uomo Intense. And this is probably one of the most beautiful fragrances I have on this entire list. I mean, there's this iris note in this that is just so gorgeous. The way I describe this one is just old money in a bottle. It's just so, it just oozes luxury and class and elegance. And the best part about it, it's not a loud fragrance. This is the one that really makes someone think that this is how they just smell generally. It is a little closer to the skin, but it also very well is not, it does perform well and it lasts forever. I mean, the best part about this fragrance is I wore it to a conference. It was called Menfluential Conference. It used to be called StyleCon. And that's where I met the OG of all time, Jeremy Fragrance. I'll put a picture up here. When I wore it to the conference, I remember he smelled me. And this is a guy who, for a living, smells fragrances all day, every day for years. He was doing this shit like since 2015. And he was like, holy shit, what is this fragrance you're wearing? It smells so good. And I told him Valentino 110. He's like, man, I gotta go smell that one. Check that out. It smells perfect on it. It smells amazing. So it's one of those fragrances that kind of like creeps up and comes like it comes up without you even really noticing. It's not loud in a way, and I love that. It's like that old money beautiful aesthetic. When I think of this, I think of if you're going on a date with a guy, right? This is the kind of guy who wears whose clothes are tailored to perfection. When you talk to him, you don't notice what he's speaking. You notice the way he listens. Right? You notice that he's wearing a really nice watch, one that you can never afford. He always pays in cash, but if he's paying in card, he's gonna drop a heavy Amex. But it's not an Amex in a way that he's spending money or trying to show flashy. This is the way he's been brought up. You don't know how he is, you wanna learn more about him, but he is kind of reserved in a way. He listens and he talks, but he doesn't ever try to overtalk or overtake your shadow. So there's something so elegant and beautiful about this one. He opens the doors for you, pulls out the chair for you. This is the type of old money classic vibe that I think is missing in this world today. And that's why I absolutely love this fragrance. This is perfect for the guy if you're someone who does like to dress up a bit, who does have that old money aesthetic. You like to wear loafers instead of sneakers. You are someone who's living in a city like New York and you're maybe someone in a banking or lawyer type environment. This is a perfect fragrance for you. If you are someone who likes to buy $500 haircuts that look like $50, this is the kind of vibe you want. The next one on this list is Noir Extreme. I mean, this fragrance is something of, like when I say masterpiece, like you just gotta smell this one. I don't care what you do or how you get your hands on it, you just gotta smell this one. This is just majestic in every way possible. I try to make this my signature fragrance for a long time actually, because it's just so great. And for a Tom Ford fragrance, you can get this for like 120 bucks, which is pretty accessible for getting into the Tom Ford line. I mean, man, it just looks like a gold bar just sitting on your shelf. The way you think about this one is there's this kulfi note in here. Kulfi is like this Indian dessert. And it's like this creamy, the best way to put a description is that it has like this cardamom-y vibe to it. Cardamom, for example, is, so there's, I know I hate giving this example, but if you went to Starbucks and had chai tea latte, which is funny because it's chai is tea, but people say chai tea latte because Americans just like to steal the frickin' everything that we do anyways. So either way, if you smelled chai before or chai tea latte from Starbucks, that's what cardamom kind of smells like. So what this is in a bottle, it's called a gourmand. A gourmand scent is something that's very edible, something you can taste. And this does taste like a sexy kulfi ice cream. So the best way, once again, to put a picture and an image around it is imagine you go to an ice cream store. They have a chai ice cream and they're scooping out the ice cream, but it's like a very creamy, so it gets all the way to the bottom. So you get that thick boy all the way at the end of the ice cream, put it in a bowl. They put chocolate over it because it's like a chocolatey vibe too. And then they put some pistachio on it, and they put a little saffron in it. And then hell, why not? They spray some vanilla like whipped cream on it. That's what this smells like in a bottle. A vanilla, saffron, chocolatey chai pistachio. And it is freaking fantastic. I mean, when I think of this fragrance, and it lasts forever, dude. I loved wearing this in the summertime and the wintertime. You can wear this at all seasons because it's just that freaking good. I don't care if you can't wear it for the summertime. You still can rock it, especially when it gets a little night outside anyway. The reason why I love this one is because it gives you that bad boy, mysterious energy to it. Because it's that gourmand thing. There's a thing that girls do like, and it's like that edible type of deliciousness of dessert. And you literally smell like a dessert that wants to be eaten. When I think of this fragrance, I think of a guy like Zayn Malik. He's mysterious. He's a bad boy. Someone who, when you go on a date with them, when you're talking, you have to lean in a bit to hear them. They're slowly a little introverted, but they also lean in to talk to you. Maybe they have tattoos. Maybe they're gonna break your heart, but hell, they're gonna write a poem about it after, and you're gonna be fine about it if they break your heart. There's something about this where it's like a dude in an overcoat, just a mysterious broken guy who's smoking cigs and chews mint leaves, and every so often gets drunk and you have to take care of him, but you love him anyway because there's just something so addictive about this guy that he breaks your heart and you're fine. He'll take a cigarette and ash it on you, but then you'll say sorry about it later. Like, there is something that toxic about this one, that it will make you love him and hate him at the same time. But this guy doesn't care. He's Zayn Malik. He doesn't care. You're just another person on the list. That's what I think of this is in a bottle. That was a little intense, I'm sorry, but that's literally what I love about this fragrance too. And Tom Ford is a masterpiece when it comes to understanding how to put different types of new ingredients, and putting Golfi in this note makes you literally delicious. Like, one of the reactions I got from this fragrance was that someone literally asked me they literally asked me not like what scent I was wearing, but the way they described it was that I hate how good you smell. So I don't even know if it was a compliment, to be honest, but that's literally a reaction I got. Like, I hate how good you smell. So if you're looking to be the bad boy or up your game from that level, trying to be the Zayn Malik of your friend group, get Tom Ford Noir Extreme. I absolutely love this fragrance. Next fragrance on this list is none other than Spice Bomb Extreme. If you've been around the fragrance block, you know a lot of people put this on their top date scents, even clubbing scents. And there's a reason why, man. This is an absolute beast. This is totally, everything on this list is blind buy worthy for sure, but this one, dude, it's like pretty affordable too. Once again, like under $100, you can easily get this. The DNA of this one is insane. It's like, once again, that spicy vibe to it. There's a cinnamon note in here that smells insane. It smells almost like a cinnamon latte with extra spices in it, if that's the way to describe it. I remember I wore this in college a lot, and I said this story before, but I remember literally one time a girl smelled it and she was like, oh, what scent is that? Whatever, it smells so good. And like, I was like, it's Spice Bomb. And for the rest of the whole semester, she just called me Spice Bomb. I don't think she ever cared to learn my name or she cared to do anything else. We hung out a lot actually, like as a friend group, but she literally for the whole semester, for 3-4 months, just called me Spice Bomb because of this fragrance. And every time I wore it, she'd always notice it and complimented it too. So there's something that's a little showman or showy about it, but at the same time, it's still reserved. It does speak for you, but in all the right ways. The way I think about this one is someone like Thomas Shelby in Peaky Blinders, or someone like I think, is it called Meet Joe Black? It's the one where Brad Pitt's a devil in the movie and he's supposed to come to Earth, whatever. So it's a romance story too. But there's something about those two characters where it's this soft, sensitive side where they don't really speak up much, but their presence speaks for them. When they walk into a room, they have a perfect suit on or like a perfect look. They are quiet, but they're reserved. And not only are they listening, but you are watching them and every single behavior matters. And there's something about their aura and their presence that does the speaking for them. Whether it's the way they talk, whether it's the way they look at you, whether it's the way they smell or the way they make eye contact, but you don't need to say much. And when you're on a date with this guy just knows everything already about you and he takes control. But he doesn't seem like the guy who would, but his aura and his presence makes you shut up. He'll order your favorite wine without you even asking. He'll light your cigarette for you. This is the kind of guy who will then also at the same time, he'll notice your like earring or something is off, but then fix it for you. And there's something so attractive about that quality of a man who takes charge, who leads. He's the kind of guy who doesn't pick, he chooses, if that makes sense. And that's what I love about this fragrance and about him. And it really does have that like Thomas Shelby, that Brad Pitt and Meet Joe Black vibe, where it's that soft, quiet yet very masculine energy. It's almost balancing the sensitive masculine side. And I think there's something beautiful when you take, once again, something that is outwardly masculine but internally sensitive, but it's that presence and aura that does the speaking for you. So this scent speaks for you in certain ways, but there's something about it that absolutely pulls people and gravitates you in. I will say it's a bit louder than all the one that was on this list, but that is because it does the talking for you. It makes the good first impression for you. It lets people know beforehand that you're entering the room and this guy means business. And then when you sit down and talk to you, you've already established yourself with one of the guys in the room. So I absolutely love this one. I always forget to wear this one because I have so many fragrances, but every time I smell this, I'm like, man, I need to wear this one more. So for this next fragrance, I'm gonna show you two fragrances because I think they both are very similar in terms of DNA. It just depends which one you gravitate more towards. And I'll explain both depending on who the kind of person you are. But first one is Armani Stronger With You Intensely. And next is Maison Margiela's By the Fireplace. These two fragrances are absolute gods at what they do. They are probably one of the most perfect date scents. They're sweet, they're nutty, they're clean, they smell like Christmas, they make you want to hug and get closer, they're warm, they're inviting, they're ambery, they're loving. I call these scents the perfect boyfriend scents. But depending on the vibe you're going for, it depends on which way you want. So these are like, they're like a little boozy too. There's something very warm and inviting and like nutty about them in a way that it makes you feel like, you know, if you've ever come to New York, they have like those guys who are roasting nuts on like caramelized nuts on the stand. That's what kind of smells like, but in a very sexy way. By the Fireplace takes it to the whole nother level, which literally smells like you're by the fireplace. It smells like you're literally like have a bonfire outside and you're cooking s'mores and some of the marshmallow drips inside the fire. So it's very ashy, sweet, yet very seductive. So depending on the kind of person you are, I'll tell you which one. This one is a bit more vanilla-y, so it's a bit more sweeter. And sometimes people just don't want to smell like a fireplace. So people don't want to smell like this one at all. So I will say this one is more character driven. It's more unique. I would say this smells more masculine. Could be worn by feminine too, because it's very sweet, but I would say this leans a bit more masculine. But there is something about it, like Chris Evans in a flannel, right? James Bond in a turtleneck. That's what I think about this one. It's the kind of guy who, when you go home, he puts a jacket over you. He's the kind of guy who makes sure you're doing all right. He's the one who will text you and make sure you got home okay. That's the kind of fragrance I think. He's the kind of guy who, when you go for a vacation, he takes you to Breckenridge or a ski or a cabin in the Alps, and you have a fireplace running and you have jazz music playing in the back, and he's wearing a turtleneck or a cashmere sweater, and you guys are cuddling on the couch watching your favorite movie. That's what I think about this fragrance. Armani, Stronger With You Intensely, very similar vibe, but this is more of like the perfect boyfriend. This one I think of like a Michael B. Jordan. Someone who texts you good morning. Someone who gets you food and snacks when you're not feeling well, who Uber eats you cookies. Like, this is the kind of guy who you want to bring home to your parents. These, once again, both are the perfect boyfriends. It just depends. This is the kind of guy who, when you go on a first date with him, he remembers your dog's name, and then he will text you, be like, oh, how is Burfy doing? Because I miss him, or something like that. This one is a bit sweeter though, and it has more vanilla in it. And I will say between the both, this one is more mass pleasing. More people will appreciate this more or get more compliments, or people will like this more than this one. It depends what you're going for. If you want something that's a bit more memorable, unique, something that's a little different from the crowd, I would get this. If you want something that's just, hey, I want everyone to just think I'm the perfect boyfriend and I smell great and more people will generally like me, then I would say go for Stronger With You Intensely. Otherwise, they're both amazing characters. They're both perfect fragrances, to be honest, in my book. Absolute 10 on 10s. It just depends. Are you more of like Chris Evans or James Bond in a flannel turtleneck in the Alps, or you're more of the perfect boyfriend in a big city who hangs out at nice brunch spots and wants to go and take care of the person and be the perfect person for them? Like, they're both otherwise, I think, incredible fragrances for what they do. I will say they're also around the same price range, like $80, $100 under still, so they're still also in the same price range. So whatever you gravitate more towards, you can't go wrong, but I would say more crowd pleasing, more unique, you pick and choose. So we have just 2 fragrances left, and this second one here is probably one of my most complimented fragrances of all time. Definitely top 3, but also one of my top 3 favorite fragrances ever, just because of the perfumery and oh my god, dude, you're gonna love this one, and you probably know where I'm going with this, and that's Parfums de Marly Layton. I mean, remember when I said I tried to make Tom Ford Noir Extreme my signature scent? The reason I didn't was because I discovered Parfums de Marly Layton. This is the first niche fragrance I bought. For those of you guys who don't know, there's designer fragrances that come from designer brands, usually a bit cheaper, more mass produced. Then there's niche brands, which are very different. They have notes which are unique and they smell a little bit off the beaten path. So it's a bit of a risk, but they come with a price tag. But the reason they charge more is because of the perfumery, the quality, and the uniqueness about it. When I smelled this niche fragrance the first time, I was absolutely blown away. I didn't realize how incredible fragrances could be. I have gotten used to a lot of the designer scent DNAs, and when I smelled this for the first time, I was like, holy shit. There's a whole world out there that I didn't realize. So there is a downside. Everything on this list is $100 or under, except for this one. This one is $200 over, but it's just so damn good I had to include on this list. If you look at any other fragrance reviewer, they talk about their date fragrances. This is always number 1 or 2. I mean, I loved this one so much. I even got the travel case for this because, Alex, at the camera to focus here, because it was just so good. I wanted to have it on my bag with me at all times. I didn't want to just leave it at home. I wanted to reapply it. I wanted to smell it for myself, because it's just that amazing. What makes it so unique is that so far we've been talking about sweet fragrances. Sweet fragrances are good date fragrances, they're good clubbing fragrances because it's inviting, it's warm, it draws you in. They're delicious, they're tasty, they're seductive. That's what sweet fragrances are. But there's a whole category of fragrances we haven't talked about today. Those are the fresh and clean and masculine selling ones. This is your Creed Aventus, your Blood de Chanel, your Acqua di Gio, your YSL Eau de Parfum. This is your just typical scents that people know and have come to love over time. But the thing is that most people don't take a Dior Sauvage and a sweet fragrance like what we talked about and mix it together. Because when they do, it's a dangerous combo. And that's exactly what they did in Parfums de Marly. They took 2 incredible popular categories, fresh and clean, sweet, they put in a bottle and made a beast mode performance that lasts forever, dude. Like, I'll smell this on my clothes the next day after I wore them the day before. Like, that's how long this lasts. There's this apple note in here, which takes a lot of the notes we talked about, but then makes it so like fresh. And like so delicious, you can take a bite out of that apple, but then it has that base of the sweetness that all the other the fragrances we've been talking about. But then it adds this like crushed peppermint feel to it. So when you smell, it's like a minty, appley, ambery, warm, like sweet scent. So it's a dangerous combo, and women love it. They gravitate towards it. This is the kind of scent where if you're sitting next to someone and they get a whiff of you, they will want to come closer just instinctively because they want to smell what is that scent. It smells so good. I think one of the compliments I got on this and when I wore it was I went in for a hug at a party and she literally was like, holy shit, what is that scent? Like, that is literally word for word what she said. This fragrance still blows me away just because of the perfumery though. It's just so unique, so different. This is expensive. Like I said, it's over $200, but it's totally blind buy worthy because of just how incredible it is. And I don't think anyone in the world could hate this scent. The way I described it as a personality is the charming guy who gets away with everything. It's a little bit loud, so it's a guy with personality, but he can get away with it because he's so freaking charismatic. Someone who I think of like this is like a Leonardo DiCaprio, a young Leonardo DiCaprio. Someone I think of this is a young Tom Cruise when he was jumping on freaking couches. Another perfect example is Will Smith. I mean, if you're into Bollywood, Shah Rukh Khan. Like, the fragrance this embodies is the showman who's charismatic and loud and can literally like slap you and win an Oscar like 10 minutes after. Like, that's what this fragrance smells like. This is the type of fragrance that, man, I feel like this would have been a dangerous fragrance if I had it when I was single. It's just so beautiful, so elegant, so masterfully done, but in a way that makes people think you're just a fun guy, charismatic guy. You can roast people, shit on people, have fun, go away, come back, and people will still remember you as just an attractive, great looking dude. When I said earlier that these fragrances can make you from a 5 on 5, 5 on 10 to an 8 on 10, these all can, but if you're the kind of person who embodies the personality I'm talking about in this fragrance, it can take you from a 5 out of 10 to a clean 9, maybe even a 10 on 10, depending on the kind of person you are, if you match the personality of the Parfums de Marly Layton. So It is expensive. I would still say, yes, you can definitely blind buy this one. Look for a travel size or decanter first. But if they're not available, which I know it's kind of tough to find it, man, if this is your signature, this is your vibe, look no further. This is one of the best fragrances on the market, period, for men. But for a date situation specifically, this is just you're gonna be a delicious candied apple that smells amazing, that the scent lasts forever. So can't really go wrong with that one. So the final one on this list is my personal date scent fragrance. It's the one I wear the most, reach for the most when going on dates with my fiance. And I absolutely adore and love this one. I picked it up last year in Paris and I can never look back because it's perfect for me, but I think it's also one of the best date scents along with these on the market, but for me, it's probably one of the best. And that is L'Homme Ideal, the Parfum version by the House of Guerlain. And man, when I tell you, this fragrance is just, this is just one that will make hearts melt. That's the way I think about it. I think one fragrance reviewer literally described it as, it's a woman who describes it, and she literally says, make her melt. Like that's the, I'm not just saying that on my own because I do these things, I'm not, but that's what she said. But I adore this fragrance. When I was in Paris last year for work, and I discovered this without even trying. I knew Guerlain is a big house there. I knew that's one house I never really got into, so I wanted to learn more about Guerlain. So I went to their showroom and I smelled the fragrances. I knew about L'Homme Ideal, but the Parfum one just blew me away. I know in the US it's kind of tough to find the Parfum version, so if you can't find it at discounters, I would say L'Homme Ideal EDP Eau de Parfum is very, very fantastic. There's also L'Homme Ideal EDP Extreme. That is also fantastic. They're all the same DNA. They just have slight different variances in each. Those are a bit more powdery. This is a bit more boozy. So if you can get your hands on this one, I would say this is awesome. But if you can't find this, those ones are excellent suggestions, recommendations. And if this didn't exist, that would be here in this place. So it's not saying I'm saying settle for that one. I'm saying they're just as good. I just prefer this version of it. This one lasts very, very long. It smells incredible. What this smells like is, if you are familiar with the drink, an old fashioned, this smells like an old fashioned. So they're boozy. There's technically amaretto in this, but it's like a sweet almondy liquor. Was this boozy whiskey type vibe, but you know how old fashioned works. There's a cherry in it, and they put a bunch of sugar in it, and they mold the sugar in the cherry. So it's a very sweet bourbon with a cherry note, and then they put a little orange peel around it too. And so it's just like sweet cherry, and this cherry note's so seductive. I mean, it's so gorgeous. I've never had a fragrance with a strong cherry note like this, and it does have that. I know maybe it's not one of the officially listed notes, but that's exactly what it smells like. And it's listed in the DNA of the notes. That's why I think there is definitely cherry note in this. But it's so sexy, it's so gorgeous. It's perfect for the fall, winter, summer, spring. It doesn't freaking matter, man. You can wear this anytime, anywhere, and you'll be one of the most attractive smelling persons ever to exist, especially for females. They love that shit. Once again, you have a sweet, sexy scent with a fresh and like that cherry and that sugary note as well, with that boozy, leathery base. It's macho man masculine. It lasts forever. It smells like a candied old fashioned. Like that's literally what it smells like if there was a candy version of it. And that's where this really, really excels, man. I mean, one thing I'll say about this is I got a compliment in France, which is a big compliment given France is the birthplace of fragrances. And she was my waiter, and I was literally at a restaurant eating by myself because I was there for work. And she literally asked me what fragrance I was wearing, and we had to use Google Translate to figure out what she was saying. And then she had me pull up a picture of it so that she could take a picture of my phone picture. So, and that's coming from someone who lived in France, and where French is, you know, they're known for their fragrances and perfumery. So that was a huge compliment, and I just love this one. I adore this one. I think this is one of the best fragrances on the market for men, period. Once again, top 3 in my list for sure. If there was, you know, if I'm going to make that video, let me know if you want to see that video, but that is what I think this would be. So the way I describe this one is I know this is not the right way to exactly say this, but it's the heartbreaker. Because it's the guy who comes into your life, you have a lot of fun with him, and then he disappears. Not saying that this is not someone that you should definitely stick around, and you shouldn't be doing all that shit, but there is a playful quality to this one that I think is tough to ignore. When I think of this fragrance, I think of someone who just you know, how Drake says, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. And that's what I think someone who would wear this would want to behave and talk like. He's the kind of guy who will be like, hey, let's just go to Milan this weekend, and then take you to Milan, and then come back, and then never talk to you again. But you had a fantastic time, and you'll never forget about him. And then 8 months later, he'll be like, hey, you up? And you just instinctively have to reply yes, because it's just this is the kind of guy who knows he's good looking, and he's in danger, and he isn't like afraid to use it to his advantage type of shit. He's the kind of guy who will say things that are a little edgy, but you'll forgive him because it's like, dude, but this guy's just so attractive, I don't care. Like, that's the way I think about this one in a bottle. And it's a perfect date scent fragrance too, because it's one of those that you want to get closer and smell more and lean in. And when I said irresistible, you smell like a candied old fashioned, it is one of those really truly irresistible scents in a bottle. I think this is one of the best fragrances to come out of the house of Guerlain, especially the parfum version, and you won't regret it if you find this and buy it. So you should totally try to get your hands on it. If you can't, just get the EDP or the extreme version. Well, they're all beasts, bro. They all perform incredibly perfectly in a date night situation setting. The thing I'll say, one caveat is, depending on the type of vibe or energy of a person you are, you want to find the fragrance that fits and matches that. Because I think a lot of these like fragrance influencers get a bad rep because they'll just promote or talk about their favorite fragrance, which probably does get them compliments, but then people buy them and say, oh dude, it doesn't work for me. The thing is that a fragrance performs the best when it's for the perfect person. For example, Creed Aventus is a $495 bottle. Everyone's obsessed about it. Everyone talks about it as the greatest fragrance of all time, longest lasting, compliment God, right? That's like literally the vocabulary they use around that. But if I wear Creed Aventus versus a guy who is 6'5", blue hair, blonde eye, trust fund kid, that guy will definitely get more compliments and more notice from Creed Aventus than someone like me, because I'm a different person, different color, different ethnicity, and I have a different personality. So the fragrance is still the fragrance, but depending on the person, it makes a big impact on the actual impact it has on other people, or the performance in a way, not like performance chemically, but performance just in terms of what people think about you when they smell that on you, right? So that's the one caveat I'll say, and trust me, I know it's confusing, and trust me, I've been burnt in the past too. I've bought super expensive fragrances to only try them on and think, what the hell, like dude, this like doesn't even smell that good, or no one's even noticed me, and all these kind of things, right? So I'm gonna do something for the first time ever. I didn't think I would do this, but I'm trying something new. I'm gonna leave a link down below for a service that I'm gonna offer. For literally $17, I will help you find your signature scent. I will be your guide. I will learn about you through a form. There's gonna be a bunch of questions to learn your ethnicity, your background, things even like skin color and temperature, the place you live. Like, there's so many questions that go into thinking, what is the best fragrance for you? So if you're interested and that's something you wanna do, I don't know how long I'm gonna keep this open to, depending on how much time I have. So I think I'm gonna keep it open for maybe the first 10, 15 people who sign up, just to try something for fun, just to like do something for fun, honestly, to help you guys out, and because I know this shit, man. I have so much knowledge about fragrances, and I feel like all I can do is just give it to you this video, but I want to work one-on-one with a few guys to really help them not have to watch videos like these, to be honest. Then there's constantly figuring out which fragrance is good for them, and then going through all these YouTube rabbit holes and spending hundreds of dollars on blind buying fragrances to only know they smell like shit. So if you're tired of all that bullshit and you want to cut the guesswork, go ahead and click that link down below. If it's still open, I would love to work with you and help you on this fragrance journey, find your perfect signature scent for your budget, your background, and one that will keep you getting compliments actually. So something that works perfectly just for you. But let me know in the comments down below, what is your favorite date scent if you made it this far into the video, because I would love to hear from you. Maybe it's something I haven't smelled before so I can get my nose on it. Go ahead and subscribe, like, comment down below for the algorithm, hit the notifications bell, because I'm gonna be pumping out a lot more fragrance content, because that is what you guys like. And that is what I like too.